Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries. Thank you for tuning in. We have an update on the report I did, or the video I did a couple of days ago about the Temple of Baal being built in New York and London as a tourist attraction. ISIS has knocked down this temple, this evil, wicked place in Syria, and the Ark of the Temple is being built in Times Square in New York City and also in London. So that was what the report was about. But even more shocking news, folks, and I am not a person that's really into conspiracy theories or things like that, but this is just mind-blowing, and I'm a history buff. I'm not a conspiracy theory buff, but I am a history buff. And, you know, maybe it's something that we should be aware of, and it's definitely something we should be aware of, but maybe it's something we should be thinking about. But I got this report that I just pulled off the internet, and I'm just going to read you the report because it says, it turns out the exact day when the reproduction of the ark that stood in front of the Temple of Baal are going to be erected in Times Square in New York City and in Trafalgar Square or Trafalgar Square in London. So that was what we did on the report the other day. You can go to the link below the video and see the link to that. I'll also put a link right here if you want to see about that one. But then it says, it is also the exact day when a very important occult festival related to the worship of Baal begins. Now, that's very interesting, folks. You know, and the date is April 19th. Now, I have to be honest. I'm up to date on my history. I'm up to date on my biblical history. I never knew April 19th was an occult festival. And after reading this and knowing that that's exactly when this ark is being built, the Temple of Baal, the ark is going to be built. Just mind-boggling here, folks, what's happening. And then to hear even more, let's continue. It says, April 19 is the first day of the 13-day period known as the blood sacrifice to the beast. This is the high occult holiday of Beltaine on May 1st. That's when it ends. So the big part of this, or the ending of this 13-day festival starting on April 19th ends on May 1st. It says, in some parts of the world, Beltaine is much better known as May Day, and it has been described as the Illuminati's second most sacred holiday. Are you hearing this, folks? It says, as you will see, we have indeed witnessed a disturbing series of blood sacrifices during the second half of April in recent years, and many people wonder if there is a connection. April 19 is also known as the Feast of Moloch. Now, I know what that is. I know who he was from the scripture. And it goes on to say, if you're unfamiliar with Moloch, or Moloch, it is an ancient Canaanite god that is repeatedly denounced in the original covenant. Child sacrifices were a key feature to worship of Moloch, and a giant statue of this pagan deity is set up in the Bohemian Grove in Northern California every year. This is the world we live in today, folks, and we need to be aware of this. It says, is it just a coincidence that the reproductions of the ark that stood in front of the Temple of Baal in Palmyra, Syria, are going up in New York and London on the precise day when the Feast of Moloch is celebrated and when a blood sacrifice to the beast begins? And that's a question we all got to think about and wonder. But anyone who's involved in scriptures, anyone who really understands spiritual warfare, this isn't no coincidence, folks. It just can't be. We'll continue. Are we to believe that this date was chosen at random? Is it just some sort of weird accident that the date they decided on begins a 13-day period of time that is exceedingly significant for the worship of Baal? And then it says April 19th to May 1st, blood sacrifice to the beast, the most critical 13-day period. I think this is from, this little part of the article is from Wikipedia or something. It says April 19th to May 1st. And keep that in mind in the future, folks. You know, I've marked that on the calendar and watch those dates and do some extra prayer and just keep your eyes open on these days. says April 19th to May 1st, blood sacrifice to the beast, a most critical 13-day period. Fire sacrifices required on April 19th. April 19th is the first day of the 13-day satanic rural day relating to fire. The fire god Baal or Moloch / Nimrod, the sun god, also known as the Roman god Saturn, or in parentheses Satan / devil. This is the day, a major human sacrifice day, demanding fire sacrifice with emphasis on children. This day is one of the most important human sacrifice days. As such, has had some very important historical events occurred on this day. We have indeed witnessed some very notable blood sacrifices during the second half of the month of April over the past decade. The following list of events that have happened on or around April 19th comes in from a vigilant citizen. April 19th, 1993, Waco, Texas massacre. Okay. April 19th, 1995, Oklahoma City bombing, 168 people killed. For the Waco one, it was 76 men, women, and children killed. April 20th, 1999, the Columbine High School massacre, 13 people murdered, 21 injured. April 16th, 2007, Virginia Tech massacre, 32 people killed, 17 injured. April 16th, 2013, Boston Marathon explosions, 3 killed and 107 injured. And then it goes on, April 19th. In addition, let's not forget the Tamarin Tazdevi was shot to death on April 19th in an explosion and fire in a Deepwater Horizon took place on April 20th. I also want to note that since 2016 is a leap year, April 20th will be the 111th day of the year. And triple numbers are considered to be power dates in the occult world. And this article, folks, is by a fellow named Michael Snyder, who has a lot of warnings and good information on this type of stuff. I was just blown away by this information. I never knew this time, and I never really thought about the end of April. And I'd have to even research it some more. I'm sure some other things happened on this date that we do know about, but we just haven't put the piece together. It says this 13th day period, which begins on April 19th, culminates with a high occult holy day of Beltaine on May 1st. In recent years, this occult holiday has experienced a tremendous resurgence, especially in Europe. The origin of Beltaine can be traced all the way back to the worship of Baal in the ancient Middle East. The following comes from some European website. It says, Beltaine, pronounced Beltaine, begins April 30th at sundown and lasts until sunrise on May 1st. Beltaine is the opposite of Halloween in the satanic calendar, as Halloween is a time of reaping, while Beltaine is a time of rebirth. This holiday is a time to celebrate fertility, indulgence, the rebirth of spring, and the Sumerian god Enlil, which in parentheses Baal. This is where the name Beltaine originates. Before any real celebrating took place, wood from 9 different types of trees gathered and a sacred grid was made. The grid was created by drawing a square on the ground and dividing it into 8 smaller squares. Turf from the 8 outer squares were dug out, leaving the 9th square intact. The Beltaine fire symbolized the central heart of the community, the divine fire in the center of all things, and the spark of life within mankind. The worship of Baal can be traced all the way back to the ancient king of Babylon, that is also known as the Samaritan sources as Emakar, but that is known in the Bible as Nimrod. And if you're familiar with your Bible, folks, you know about Nimrod, but it just says here, he established the first, in parentheses, new world order, close parentheses, in the ancient world, and he fundamentally changed the course of human history. And then it says, after he passed away, this ancient king of Babylon eventually came to be worshipped as a sun god under a whole host of different names. Marduk, Orosius, Apollo, and so on. Many secret societies and occult groups believe that someday this ancient deity will be resurrected and will once again take his place as the ruler of the world. And many Christian scholars are entirely convinced that there is some sort of connection between the ancient figure of Nimrod and the coming Antichrist. So, is it just a coincidence that we are erecting arches of the ancient deity in New York and London on a date that is exceedingly significant to those that worship this ancient deity? Could it be possible that there is more to these gateways that are being constructed than we are being told? And could it be possible that they are laying out giant welcome signs for the Antichrist? We have entered a period of time known in the Bible as the last days. From this point forward, things are going to get much, much stranger. Ultimately, the world that we live in is going to come to resemble something out of a post-apocalyptic science fiction novel. So, enjoy the remaining days of normal life, as we all have come to know it. Our world is rapidly changing, and those changes will soon be extremely dramatic. And there you go, folks. That is the report that I read in follow-up to the video I did on these arcs that are being built in ancient, in New York City and also in London. And I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I heard eventually they're going to build them or they're seeking to build something like that in most of the major cities around the world. And just keep your eyes open at the end of April, folks. Keep your eyes open and be aware of what I just said. And also keep an extra prayer. And it's very interesting. So put your comments or questions below the video. Thanks for checking it out, this video. And pass it along to other people because people need to know. And the Bible is clear. You know, things happen. But it's also clear that with prayer, things can be different. And with unity and prayer in unity, things can that our Creator was going to allow happen. Change can happen, let's say that. So we need to pray in unity about these tragedies that are about to happen, about the blood sacrifice, about all victims in the past, and so on. And, you know, keep your head up, folks. Keep your eyes open. Until then, have a great day, and shalom, shalom.
Come out of the world, oh my people, seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's ways. Torah Life Ministries, come out of the world,